Yeah, it is really strange.
Buried ghosts beckon from beneath the concrete of the Interstate 5 corridor. The homes and businesses it displaced in the early 1960s contained the stories of all who lived there: families, laborers, and shopkeepers. Yes, along with rogues, miscreants, and scofflaws. For the past 3 years, Elisa Renouard, a lecturer in the University of Washington Department of Architecture, has led her students on a remarkable adventure. Called City Erased, the project maps lost neighborhoods plowed under by the Great Freeway. For architecture students, she says, this is a surprisingly rare opportunity to dig into old maps, photos, and city records. For me, it's a real treat to spend time down the rabbit hole with them. Renouard's students build faithful 3D digital and physical models, reconstructing streets that no longer exist, along with prominent lost structures, like the Hotel Kalmar at 6th Avenue and James Street, a favorite of architect Victor Steinbruck. Also included are what Renouard calls quieter stories that reveal the ordinary fabric of a city that progress chose to pave. In Seattle and other cities across America, that path fell disproportionately on immigrant neighborhoods and communities of color. Case in point, The Castle, a boarding house at 6th and Jefferson, whose records drew architecture graduate Rebecca Schaefer into archives and yielded what many old buildings contain: the comedy and pathos of everyday life. Weddings, burglaries, speeding tickets. Edward Harris, a Castle resident facing 29 violations in 1951, admitted to the judge, "I guess my foot's a little heavy on the accelerator." One family gave the building its soul: Talia Tony Tolias, a Greek immigrant and sea captain, arriving in Seattle in 1918, stayed on for more than 30 years. Schaefer says she imagines him in retirement, watching the boats come into harbor while the city slowly filled in, views narrowing. Tolias died in 1956, 2 years before the freeway demolished his block. "It's bittersweet," Schaefer says. "It's made me feel a sort of grief over a loss that I never knew." Student Leslie Diaz de Leon Flores puts it another way. "The old records," she says, "provide a treasure hunt to understand the secret lives of buildings, to start to imagine what it was like to live in this city in this particular year, and to walk down those streets." City Erased is on display at the UW's Gould Hall, across from the College Inn. The exhibit runs through May 29th and is free and open to the public. In our first then photo, built in 1898 and long known by its neighborhood nickname, The Castle, the turreted house at 605 Jefferson Street stood on a rocky, overgrown slope between Harborview Medical Center and the downtown skyline. This photo was taken from the roof of the nearby Hotel Kalmar in 1956. The freeway reached the block 7 years later. In our second then photo, looking north from Denny Way, this circa 1960-61 aerial shows the dense East Lake neighborhood. Homes, apartments, and small businesses just before Interstate 5 carved a corridor through its heart. The highlighted overlay marks the freeway's projected path. Lake Union is visible at upper left. In our first now photo, architecture graduate Rebecca Schaefer stands at the approximate site of the entrance to the Castle, today buried under Interstate 5. 2 years of archival research made the vanished building feel, she says, like a place she has visited. In our second now photo, models of buildings lost to I-5 include the Russian Orthodox Church from 1895, the Zoe Dussain Gallery, 1948, and the Reynolds House, built in 1890. The models were created by students Skylar Lin, Michelle Vu, and Vincent Regojos, respectively. In our third now photo, City Erase students work with Sanborn fire insurance maps. The hand-drawn records of every building, block by block, were one of their primary tools for reconstructing Seattle's lost I-5 corridor. From left, McNeil Galindo, Leslie Diaz de Leon Flores, Elisa Renouard, Elgin Gassoud, Marcos Estacio, Nalin Chahal, and Fernando Herrerias Reyes. In our fourth now photo, in its third year, the City Erase project has mapped the I-5 corridor from Roanoke Street South to Dearborn, reconstructing block by block the neighborhoods that Seattle's freeway erased. Each year, students add new buildings, stories, and ghosts.